Welcome back, philanthropists. Taisha here, back with another tip on our advocacy series. If you have not done so already, please go back and watch the first two videos on how to engage your giving circle in advocacy. Today, we're continuing our discussion on how you all can get involved. My last video, I pretty much shared a tip on how to educate your diverse stakeholders on the issues that your circle is working to address, which is super duper important in this advocacy work for sure. Now it's time for us to move from learning to action. So my tip for today is to build consensus. So what is consensus building, and why is it important to advocacy? So consensus building is a process that allows various stakeholders to work together to develop a mutually acceptable solution. Building consensus says that we're not alone, that you're not alone. And those, as we know, who make the most noise, especially in today's world, gets the most attention. So building that consensus is very important in today's very interconnected society, because so many of our problems that exist affect diverse groups of people with different interests. And as problems mount, the organizations that deal with society's problems come to rely on us, our giving circle members, and one another for help. They are very much so interdependent. So the parties affected by decisions are often independent as well. So therefore, it is extremely difficult and often ineffective for organizations to try to solve controversial problems on their own, right? And that's why they have us. So consensus building offers a way for individuals, us, individual citizens and organizations to collaborate on solving very complex problems in a way that is acceptable to us all. That said, let me share three steps pretty much on how you can build consensus, because it's a whole process. So step one in building consensus is to decide on who to involve, right? Can't build a consensus without people. So using your circle's values is a very, very helpful tool in figuring this out. For example, my giving circle invests in Black women-led leadership and causes that support Black women and girls. So with those values in mind, to help me identify who to involve, I'm going to involve folks from NGOs, government officials, researchers, healthcare providers, et cetera, that can lend their expertise to help me and my heritage sisters to advocate on behalf of Black women and girls. So as you all are considering like who to involve, really think broad, think inclusive, and include those who have influence, expertise, frontline experience. That's very important, and facilitation skills. There's power in numbers, people, and collaboration is key to building consensus. So make sure you have the right folks at the table, involve people. So step two in building consensus is to set some goals, right? SMART goals specifically, if you can. Setting goals is a key step in building consensus among your circle. I would suggest asking, what are we really trying to accomplish? And what can we do now? Right? So what's the best way to eat an elephant is to eat it in pieces. So for example, if your circle goal is to advance voting rights and access, right? Then some of your goals might include hosting 5 voter registration drives, creating 1 public opinion poll, facilitating 2 community town halls about voting rights, et cetera. So that's a key step in building consensus, is to set some goals, specifically SMART goals if you can. The final step, step 3 in building consensus, is to identify key decision makers to advocate for your cause. Now, the likelihood of success increases tremendously when your advocacy effort identifies a specific person in power. Very important. After developing your goals, it is crucial that you focus on the decision makers, or in some case, the decision maker, or in some cases, the decision makers who have the power to achieve your goals, to help you achieve your goals. To identify some of your key decision makers, ask yourself 2 questions. How are the decisions made on the issues that your circle is working to address, and who is the one that is in the best position to help you achieve these goals? For example, my circle was very, very concerned about our communities, Black and brown communities post-COVID. What does that look like? We were very concerned about that. So what we did, Heritage did, we engaged a local City of Dallas council member who was the chair of the COVID task force. Right? Advocacy, identifying the right person. We also identified other civic groups and members and men organizations that shared our values and concerns about post-COVID recovery. And so that's just a way, my example of our way, how we engage a key decision maker. But another example is, if your giving circle is passionate about food insecurity access, then identify a person that's on the board of your state nutrition or your health and economic opportunity programs, So this will really also, with that, I would lift up, identify also the gatekeeper, because we also need to kind of keep in mind who are the folks that's standing in the way for us achieving our goals. And so I'll lift that up. All that to say, it is very important that we shift this narrative and convey to our policymakers and other influencers to more effectively articulate the value and the impact of our work, of our giving circle work, and what we're doing in the philanthropic space. And as citizens of this world and a part of our local communities, we have an obligation to contribute in a way that goes beyond philanthropy, and building that consensus is a vital piece of our advocacy work. So I'll stop here and hope that you would join me on my next and final video where I'll share my final tactic on how your giving circle can advocate for change. See you around.